And we are live, Reggie.
We are. It's true. We're live.
It's very true. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to the Crafty Boys. This is episode 184.
I think.
Check. Yeah, 184. Yes, that's right. We're professionals. And this week's beer was chosen by not myself. It was chosen by, who actually chose it?
I think it was
it's more of a group decision.
Communal group.
This was a collab
thing, a hive mind.
So the beer this week is the Singularity Russian Imperial Stout from Driftwood Brewing over there on the place where there's stuff and
on Vancouver Island.
That's what I'm trying to say, where there's ferries to get there and stuff. So, you know. And this beer is a seasonal that they make, I gather, every year, according to their website. They make it every spring or winter. They make it over the winter, I think. And then, oh, geez, I'm pouring beer on my desk. That's always a good thing. All right. Pouring the beer. There we go.
I would just like to say it's kind of amazing that given the history we have, that the three of us were able to get this thing.
I know, right? I mean, it actually came out just after Christmas. I'm surprised it's still available.
Here, Allie, can you take this?
Well, they had a bunch of bottles on the shelf at the store I went to, Liquor Plus.
They only had 4 at the Brewery Creek place that I go to, and it was bubbles.
Look at that.
This thing smells so dark. Good.
Now, I mean, I've had this before. It is a barrel-aged beer. So just looking at the...
yes. The beer of infinite density.
Yes. Massive, rich coffee and chocolate.
Bourbon barrel-aged Imperial Stout with an ABV of 13.2. And Dave, would you like to guess there
won't be a
Imperial beer units on this? I just want to see. I want to see if you can guess.
Give me a moment. Am I allowed to at least quaff?
Yes, quaff first. Everyone, quaff.
Oh.
Somebody is enjoying this. I think all three of us.
This will be the next 20 minutes. Will be us just doing this.
Yeah, baby.
So now, what's interesting though?
So I was gonna get all sexy on you there now.
Oh, you can get all sexy. That's fine. You do it. You do you.
I just want to tell you all out there that there you go.
Nice.
I hope you're all well.
So something that's interesting here, according to the Driftwood web page, for this particular beer, it comes in at 13.2 ABV. On the bottle for this year, it comes in at 10.3.
Yeah, I saw that. I was curious as to why, but I just assumed that there was a typo somewhere, probably most likely on the website. But
well, on the website, I think it's an older entry. So the picture that goes with it is a picture of the 2015 Singularity.
Yeah, good point.
And I'm kind of wondering if maybe they've kind of scaled it back a little bit over the years.
It is possible, because if you're chilling. What did I just say? Chilling. Did I actually say the word chilling?
I think
but
you did.
If you ever
perfectly fine words, sir. What's your beef with chilling?
Not a thing. Not one thing. But essentially, I think that overall, I don't care, because the beer is tasty anyway.
Well, and this is the thing, right? It's like here, each of us are having one of these bottles. I don't know about you guys. I have to work in the morning. 13.2%. Oh my God, I'm not going to work tomorrow.
Let me check. I'll double check the live stream. Make sure your boss isn't looking. Oh, you're screwed. You're totally screwed. I gotta say, there's nothing wrong with this.
This thing is bourbon barrel aged. So
Yes.
Compared to, say, a regular Imperial Stout, the flavor on this has a lot more depth to it. Would you say?
My biggest question about the Singularity is whose bourbon? I have found no information about. I was just looking for it right now. I don't see any reference. No one seems to be claiming that they are the bourbon makers. So, does this lead me to believe that Driftwood actually makes their own bourbon?
No, I don't think so. They just use bourbon, barrels.
I'm kind of curious where they get the barrels from. I just want to know. Like, to me, it's kind of an important thing, especially since was it today or yesterday? Yesterday.
Okay, so just a second here.
Oh.
I'm on the what website is this? Beer Advocate. Okay, so
I thought you had the beer just hit me moment. Like right in between there. That was pretty epic.
Okay, so I don't know when this was written, but in the explanation for this beer, it says our 8th annual release of Singularity has been conditioned for 2 months in authentic Kentucky bourbon barrels. This aging process adds warming notes of bourbon and oak that push this Russian Imperial Stout beyond the event horizon. So this is actually the note for last year's, for 2018.
Yeah, I'm just curious, really, more or less than anything. I don't really know if there's anything else. Apparently it was the Russian Imperial Stout in 2017 that was 13. But I guess you're right. I think it's probably down to 10. Which is you know what? As I was going to say a moment ago, it is actually fascinating that we are drinking this beer today, considering what happened in the cosmic news yesterday.
Oh yeah. Hey.
That we have the very first photograph of a singularity,
yes,
otherwise known as a black hole. Dave, have you been watching this?
It that way?
It's coming to get us.
I wish we had.
Yeah, I know. This is like a total coincidence.
Makes it better as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, totally does.
So, did you follow any of this in the news there, Dave?
I watched a little bit of a story earlier this evening.
And
it is freaking cool. We've actually got some more visual evidence of something that's, I mean, it's been accepted basically for years, hasn't it? But I guess there's always been that question in the back of astrophysicists' minds, is it, are we right here, or are we still kind of, groping in the dark, if you'll excuse the pun.
Right.
But no more.
It's true. I mean, the only reason why we have even theorized of black holes is because we can estimate how much matter is in the universe. And when we see visual matter and we estimate how much it's worth, or what its value is, and we see that all these celestial objects are moving at a certain rate, the numbers don't add up. There should be a lot more matter in the universe for the amount of distance and speed that we're all traveling, which is why they came up with the whole idea of dark matter. That there's some sort of there's something out there that we can't see that is causing all of this, gravity distortions and all that kind of stuff. I want to say gravimetric distortions. That sounds too Star Trek-ish. So yeah, and now it's come to pass that, hey, it's actually true. There are these things out there called black holes, dark matter, that light can't escape from, that are huge and cause a lot of gravity, and they're there. It explains everything.
This is very true. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert in the in astrophysics, but
You are.
I play one on TV. No, I'm kidding. I know. I was very excited about this because it's, you know, I don't know about Dave. We nerd out a lot on space related things, and it's very exciting and very cool.
Very cool.
And a lot of people might just poo-poo this and kind of go, eh. But I was reading a little while ago. I took a book out of the library called Singularities and Oddities or something.
Did you sign it out before you took it?
I had to fight them first.
Right.
See, the VPL here in Vancouver, when you take out a book, is more or less trial by combat. You have to go to the library. You're like, I'd like to take out this book, and they say things like, "Oh, would you?" And then, you know, that's when a large, you know, person comes out of the back room and
With
they
the bat
hand
left,
you
I'm sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you duel it out until suddenly one of us is on the ground bleeding out, and the other one is going. You gotta greet people into Stovacor. You know, that's the rule. So, and then after you take out the book, you read it, and then you take it back, and it's really tough to take it back because you get back, you're expecting to fight, but then they don't. They just it's only really at the beginning where you have to fight it out. So
mind games. That's a rough library, man.
I know.
This is a Carnegie.
They guard the knowledge. But I totally forgot what the hell I was talking about. Oh yeah, so I was reading anyway. The point is, I was reading this book about how the universe will die, and the as time goes on, you know, a bazillion, gazillion, bazillion, blah, you know, number that I'll never be able to pronounce. In the future, eventually, the only thing left in the universe creating light will be black holes as they dissipate, because apparently over time they eventually, now this is a very the guy who wrote this was trying to summarize it in a very simple way, but essentially they pop, they become so massive, they become so incredibly powerful that eventually they just explode, and at that time, because the universe will be so incredibly cold, they won't be able to reform, something along those lines anyway. So yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. And then eventually the universe will just be a very dark space with basically nothing in it, because black holes will have over time eaten up the eaten each other essentially to make bigger black holes. And go ahead,
blow your mind.
All right, let's hear it.
All right, so there is a theory.
Hang on, I got to take my pants off.
Okay.
All right. Wow, me.
Okay.
I'm waiting.
I think
all that you
described
has already happened.
I would not doubt it, because it apparently happens over and over and over again.
That we are not actually living our lives right now. This what we are doing right now has already happened. It happened about millions of years ago, and we are simply movies being played from out of a black hole. Then we've already been sucked into the black hole, and our lives are simply just streaming out and played like a movie, and we experience it but have no control over it. And when we die, we play it all over again.
So we're galactic internet.
Fuck that. I don't want to relive this life. I want to be like famous next time. You know, I want to have billions of dollars and, naked people falling on me constantly. So you're saying reincarnation is a hoax?
It's not reincarnation. It's, you die and then you're born again as a baby to the same parents and everything, and you live the exact same life over again. And it's just a movie being played for your entertainment, and you cannot affect the outcome of that movie.
That blows. Dave, defeat this ridiculous theory.
I didn't make the theory.
I'm out. Well, no, I was hoping that Dave would come at it from a sort of Eastern philosophy direction.
Wow.
I mean, the Dalai Lama just yesterday has gone to hospital with a chest infection, and they're already talking about where the next Dalai Lama will come from because of the whole China Tibet thing. So, just saying.
So, I mean, I'm oversimplifying it. I mean, I barely understand it myself, so I'm sure I'm getting some of it wrong, but it was something that I read very briefly about, and it sounded kind of interesting.
Actually, what is interesting about that is that for some reason, the first thing in my mind assuming that is true, that the universe has already been played out and we are not reincarnated, we don't come back, there's no spirit world, and we replay the same life over again because that's the time loop that's created. Mm-hmm. Now, that totally makes sense to me because as the mathematics will point out, that the closer you are to a gravity well of any kind, whether it's a singularity or not, time is different. Where you could actually in the not, I want to say NASA, it wasn't NASA. Insert very famous, you'd recognize the name, research project place, JPL. A long time ago, as in like 10 years ago, we're able to figure out just how the age difference of people living at different elevations on the Earth's surface. Mm-hmm. And they found that people that are living at sea level age faster than the ones living up in the mountains. So, and this has been somehow done with twins as well. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff about it, but anyway, so apparently, that's because we're closer to the center of the Earth, which is its own gravitational pull, and which of course treats time differently. And so that also talks about, or it could also explain the satellites that are up there, the GPS satellites specifically, that have to have their clocks adjusted, I guess, every so often because they are running faster than on the surface. So, it's just how gravity works. I wish we understood gravity more than I guess we do.
Well, but, it's interesting that you say this, because I remember back in my physics classes when you were trying to calculate, the acceleration of gravity, closer to sea level was 9.82 meters per second squared. But the higher you went in elevation, the lower it got. Now, it didn't get very much lower. I mean, it was still like basically 9.8%. And we just kind of used the simplistic 9.8% meters per second squared for the acceleration of gravity. But it was a higher number the closer you were to sea level, and lower the higher you got in elevation, which is interesting.
It's very cool, and that's what I mean. Like, I wish we as a species understood how gravity worked way better than we do. But I guess that's what we're finding out right now. Because I mean, the thing is, to take this photograph of the black hole, they actually had to use multiple satellites, or not satellites, multiple radar. What are they called? Radio telescopes. Across the Earth over a long period of time in order to take this data and then basically download it and mesh it together to create the image. But it took that amount of power. I mean, this black hole is a black hole in the center of a galaxy far, far away. I've forgotten what the galaxy is. It's like M87 or something.
Oh, M87, yeah.
And so, it's way the hell out there. It's I guess near Orion's penis or something. And it's far away. It's like a bazillion light years away. But the whole point is that it took that amount for our little planet. It took that amount of working together and ingenuity and time to be able to create what people look at and go, it's a picture of a smudge. Well, actually, no, it's a big picture of a very big thing. Like this object is what is it, like 33 times or a bazillion, whatever amount of times larger than the Earth. So it's quite a ways across. It's a very it's hard to describe. And I was just earlier in the afternoon, I was actually looking at somebody they had also taken that image, and they had created a 3D model of it to give you an idea that if you change direction, what you'd actually be looking at. So, you know, it's a 3D structure, and you know actually what it kind of looks like. But again, it's hard to take photographs of something that doesn't let light go. So you have to basically take a photograph of the event horizon, which is, you know, what is it like if you fell into a black hole? Let's pretend you're able to survive in space and you're able to like fly into a black hole or fall into it or whatever, that it would take you infinity to die. Like they're like talking about how, you know, it would tear you apart, obviously, but because of the way that time works in such a powerful gravitational field, it would take you forever to die. So you wouldn't be dead, but you would be dead, and you'd be, you know, dead, sort of not really, you know, it's that kind of weird way to describe it.
Yeah.
So you people kind of picture, you know, but you do that for a very long time, you know, like,
like forever.
I mean, remember in the second Bill and Ted's film,
maybe call it hell.
Well, yeah, I guess you would. But remember in Bill and Ted's 2, when they were falling from somewhere. I've forgotten how they were falling, but they were falling, and they were like, ah! You know, they're looking around like, are we? I guess we're not dead yet. Okay, I guess not. Ah! You know that.
I think they were falling from heaven, weren't they?
It's possible. I mean,
remember they were in heaven, and then they had to.
I did watch that film. I don't know, sometime last year again, and realized how awesome and terrible it is at the same time.
It's an awful movie.
But it's that whole thing that happens, you know, like you have films like what was it called? The Blair Witch Project, and how that film, if you watched it, was actually not that bad. It was quite ingenious considering that it was a very, you know, I guess it was it was a very small budget. It was kind of thing. But then they did a sequel, which was, of course, Hollywoodized, and it was terrible. Oh yeah, they've done like 3 or 4 of them now.
What?
Not the same group. The company that bought the thing. So, but yeah, it was, you know, it was a Hollywood film. So, why did I start talking about the Blair Witch Project?
I have no idea.
Well, actually,
things that will happen to you when
when
you approach the event horizon.
Exactly. So, all I'm saying is that when you fall into an event horizon, you're going to be having to watch the Blair Witch Project 2 over and over again. but the problem is, it'll never end. It won't even start, but it might be playing all the time.
Whoa!
Wait a minute, Dave. So there you go.
Wow.
But overall, I gotta say this beer is really good.
It's really, 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 really good.
I give it up for Driftwood. What else is Driftwood made that we like?
Well, they made Old Cellar Dweller.
Yeah. What else?
And
the Peanut Gallery is yelling it out.
Give it up, Alan. Just do it, man. Just do it.
I know, Fat Tug. It's a celebrated beer.
It is a celebrated beer, and the Peanut Gallery. Even I asked the question to you. The Peanut Gallery screamed. There we go. I don't know if you could hear that, but
she sounded like one of the Munchkins from.
She sounded like a. Apparently, you sound like a Munchkin.
Tell her to say, we represent the Lollipop Guild.
Allie, can you say we represent the Lollipop Guild? Nope, she's not going to do it. So, thank you, Peanut Gallery. So, a question. I found something very prized in my collection of things the other day.
Nice.
And I just want to share it with you because it's something you talk about while you drink beer. But I found my copy of Marvelous Magic.
Oh.
Which is hilarious because I lent it to a friend of mine about 10 years ago. No, even longer, more than that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And I visited them again recently, and they're like, I think this is yours. And then I open it up and it has my name in it. And I'm like, I haven't seen this for like a decade. And then I remembered buying it with my allowance back in like 2000 with my allowance. Sorry, back in 1984.
Wow.
So I gotta say, I was reading it today, and I wanted to read this little passage because I laughed out loud when I heard it. But essentially, if for those of you who don't know what this is a D&D book from way back in the day, and it was designed for if you wanted to have some new magical items in your D&D adventuring. This particular one made me laugh. Here we go. It's called the barrel. It's called a barrel, just a typical barrel. But this one is called the Barrel of Monkeys. And if you stare into this barrel for more than 5 seconds, the monkeys will attack you, and there will be 100 monkeys trying to eat your face after gazing into the barrel.
That's awesome.
I laughed out loud. I don't know if you guys think it's funny, but I was like, that's the best thing ever.
All right.
That is.
Wow. So, any news that we should talk about before we close it up, aside from the Singularity?
I did find an article, but I don't know if I want to bring it up at this point.
Okay, well, we'll save it for next week.
Save it for next week.
And because next week might not be here, but it might be happening right now, and it might be happening already.
What? I don't have the beer yet.
That really we're screwed. That really kind of sucks, the fact that we might, relive everything over and over again, because I kind of was hoping
the fact that we've already gone into a black hole and died like
a lot.
Endlessly.
Well, I hope we don't we don't.
It's basically purgatory.
I kind of want to have a different life, to learn from this one and to do a next one and do heroin.
I was hoping to live as like a grasshopper or something.
Actually, that would be kind of cool. Actually,
get caught by like an 8-year-old or something, and like and have.
I'd want to be like a something really cuddly. Like a puppy with a lot of fur, that everyone would just like, oh, it's so cute, just cuddle me all the time. What would you be? What would you want to be reincarnated to as Dave?
Ooh. Yikes.
I don't know what a yikes is.
I think that's one of those things where it's like a creature that lives around your butt.
I could see Dave being reincarnated as a rattlesnake.
Really?
A cobra.
A cobra.
Because nobody wants to mess with a cobra.
That's true. I mean,
do cobras have friends?
I'm sure they've got cobra friends.
Cobra friends. I'm not talking about like G.I. Joe Cobra. I'm talking about.
Oh, dudes.
Hey, Snake Eyes, you want to go out for a beer, Snake Eyes? Come on, man. Hey, Destro, what are you doing on Saturday?
That's a show. We're doing it. We're doing it. We are restarting G.I. Joe, and it's gonna all be Cobra.
What was the female antagonist for the Cobra cartel?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Trying to remember
what was her name. She wore black, of course.
Yeah,
Cobra insignia, big boobs.
I'm googling female evil character.
Yeah.
For G.I. Joe. Oh, nuts! Cesspool, no. Copperhead, no.
Cesspool.
There was a character named Cesspool.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
he was from Newton, Massachusetts.
Ouch.
Hannibal, Headman, Hotwire? No,
it's a female. It's the only one.
No, there was a female good person and a female bad. They had to have the equally. Storm Shadow, no. I cannot remember the name. That is really going to bug me now. But there you go. The members.
I'm sure somebody in the comments.
Baroness.
Baroness. That's
Baroness. There we go. Yes, she was. It's basically the villainous right hand woman of Cobra Commander. But Cesspool, you know, there's Cesspool's bio is actually quite sizable compared to everyone else. Apparently, he's been around since forever. 1991. There you go. Anyway, on that note, boys and girls, we're at our half hour ish. But thank you for watching. We will be back next week with a beer that we have no idea what the hell it's going to be. But of course, if you have ideas, things that we should be trying out, do let us know. There's all that social stuff at the bottom, you know, the whole Twittering thing and the buttons to subscribe and stuff. There's also some bell that you can like do stuff with that apparently we're supposed to tell you about, but you know how to use YouTube. And
maybe Dave McCann should suggest something.
Well, hopefully
Dave McCann, you have to suggest
something. No, don't just ask him directly. You have to like plead with him. Say, go.
Dave McCann, please. Can you suggest something?
Need a little more begging.
Please. Please.
Cry, little tear work. Well done. Dave McCann will be on it, I'm sure, after that request.
Either that or you'll give up in disgust.
Exactly. I'm done with you, jerks. All right. As always, Alan, please take us out.